let me tell you a secret.
You hold a newborn baby in your arms. You support their tiny, wobbling head with absolute care. You panic if their temperature changes by half a degree. You double-check the baby monitor every 5 minutes. But here is what you never noticed about that quiet instinct. Your brain is running software written 300,000 years ago. Software designed for a world where there were no cribs, no baby monitors, no sterile wipes, and no hospitals. A world where a crying baby wasn't just loud. It was a beacon for every hungry predator within 2 miles. So how did our ancient ancestors actually keep the most helpless creatures on the planet alive? The answer isn't in modern parenting books. It is written in your DNA. When a human baby is born today, it is biologically incomplete. Compared to almost every other mammal on Earth, human infants are born prematurely. A baby horse stands up and runs within an hour of birth. A baby monkey clings to its mother's fur by day 1. A human baby can't even hold up its own head. Anthropologists call this secondary altriciality. Why did evolution do this to us? Because of 2 massive evolutionary events that collided. First, our ancestors stood up on 2 legs, which narrowed the human pelvis. Second, our brains started growing exponentially larger. If human babies stayed in the womb until their brains were as developed as other primates, they would be physically impossible to give birth to. So evolution made a trade-off. It kicked us out early. Human babies are born with brains only 25% of their adult size. They are, quite literally, 4th trimester embryos living in the outside world. This created a massive survival crisis for early humans. A hunter-gatherer mother could not hunt, gather, or outrun a leopard while holding a totally helpless baby 24 hours a day. For a long time, historians assumed ancient mothers simply carried the entire burden alone. They were wrong. In 2005, anthropologist Dr. Sarah Hrdy published landmark research on ancient child-rearing. She discovered that early humans survived through a strategy called Alloparenting. In a Stone Age band, a mother almost never raised a baby alone. The moment a newborn arrived, it was passed around to grandmothers, aunts, older siblings, and trusted band members. In modern hunter-gatherer societies like the Yukon people of the Kalahari, infants are handled by up to 20 different caregivers in a single day. This completely changes our understanding of human nature. Ancient babies were not raised in isolated nuclear family homes. They were raised by a village in the most literal sense possible. If a mother was exhausted or needed to search for food, someone else held the baby. If a mother couldn't produce enough milk, another nursing woman in the band stepped in. In fact, this constant physical contact was the ancient world's primary survival technology. Ancient humans didn't have strollers, car seats, or bouncy chairs. A baby put down on the cold dirt floor of a cave was a baby in immediate danger of hypothermia or predation. So ancient babies were held almost continuously, up to 90% of the day. And this brings us to the counterintuitive twist. Have you ever wondered why your heart rate spikes the instant a baby starts crying? Why it feels almost physically painful to ignore it? That isn't a modern reaction. That is an ancient alarm system. In the Paleolithic era, a baby that cried for extended periods in the wild didn't just stress out its parents, it threatened the survival of the entire group. A sharp, loud cry echoing across an open savanna was an invitation for hyenas and saber-toothed cats. Because of this, ancient humans developed an ultra-sensitive response to infant distress. When a Stone Age baby cried, it wasn't left to self-soothe in another room. It was picked up instantly, offered milk, or rocked gently. Data from hunter-gatherer studies shows that ancient babies cried for only a fraction of the time modern Western babies do. Not because ancient babies were magically calmer, but because the delay between a cry and physical contact was virtually 0 seconds. So when you feel that sudden surge of panic when a baby cries, you aren't being overly anxious. You are experiencing the exact same chemical spike that kept your ancestors from being tracked down by predators in the dark. Look at how you react to a baby today. When a baby cries, you reflexively bounce on your heels. You sway side to side. You make high-pitched, melodic sounds, what linguists call motherese. You didn't take a class to learn that. That rhythmic swaying mimics the exact pace of a Stone Age mother walking across uneven ground with a baby wrapped tightly to her chest. That high-pitched voice cuts through background noise and calms an infant's nervous system instantly. We think we live in a modern world governed by apps, specialized doctors, and high-tech cribs. But the way you hold a newborn, the way your heart sways when they cry, and the instinct to pass a baby to a grandparent when you're tired, none of that belongs to the 21st century. You are simply carrying out a survival ritual that was perfected 300,000 years ago in the deep grass of the African savanna. When you look into the eyes of a newborn tonight, you aren't just looking at the future. You are looking at the reason your ancestors survived the past. Made it to the end? Thank you, legend. Hit like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If got a video idea, please comment below and we might just make it. That's a wrap. See you in the next one.